And
Historic episode ahead. Or probably not. Hello, everybody! Welcome to another jam-packed edition of David Lee Madison's The End of the Night. And apparently my chair is way too high, so I'm going to sink down like a sap, so give me a second. There you go. You can actually see my goofy-looking mug. How are you, Mr. Ridgely?
I am great. Thank you for asking. Glad to be back. Missed you guys last week.
Yes, we were just sitting around doing nothing. And, that's what we do best. You know what, Joe? I am... again, welcome, everybody. Tonight, our guest is a UN representative from Pakistan named Uzma Gul, and I'm super excited to speak with. But I'm going to tell everybody ahead of time that she did not make a V check, so who knows what the hell's going to go on this crazy adventure. But hopefully she'll be joining us in just a few minutes. Joe, I was super excited. I was gonna there was gonna be the first 5 minutes of my new film Full Moon Fever was going to be released on March 1st, but because the date keeps getting pushed up, we chose not to release the first 5 minutes. But I felt like I wanted to show folks a little taste, so I put together just on my Facebook page a 2.5 minute clip of it's not even an official trailer. It's just me as the director wanting to get some stuff out there, and luckily it looks like what people are seeing they kind of dig. So I'm kind of excited about that. I also want to say that the late great Alex Rosem did the music in that piece, and the song is called Chrome Sitar, and I think that song sounds a lot like G. Tom Mack's Lost Boys tune. It has that kind of haunting background vocal, so that's why I chose it for that. And I think that it's just really, really scary sound. And what did you think of it, Joe? Did you think that the footage looks taut? Do you think it looks like it's something that's going to catch the imagination of horror fans?
I thought it looked amazing, and I was going to ask you about the music as well. That song just like dragged me in.
Oh,
And
cool.
So yes, very well done.
Awesome. I'm super excited about that movie. It's a smaller picture. It was done mostly throughout the COVID months. It was very, very difficult to shoot. But I lovingly took time in creating the actual werewolf. The werewolf is super cool. I think any key to a good werewolf picture is having a really cool werewolf, and B, having a great werewolf transformation. And that's two of the things that we focused on in that picture to make Full Moon Fever come to life. I'm super excited about it. And there's so many cool werewolf pictures out. There's Ed McKeever's great werewolf picture, The Beast Comes at Midnight. I can't, everybody it's doing great. It's doing a bunch of screenings and film festivals. And they did, Joe Castro, a great friend of the show, did the makeup on that. And it's just such a cool werewolf movie. And there's a whole bunch of other werewolf movies coming out. So I'm super excited to be kind of in that new werewolf.
Did you see on, I think it was Mike McKeever's page, he cut the promo you did on the show when you saw the movie.
Oh, yeah. They put out a little clip from the show the day after I went to the Pocono Cinema and saw their great picture. And I'm very proud that they used that. That's very nice of you guys. Thank you for showing this show to love. I'm very, very happy to give your film a great review because it was really, you guys did such a great job on that movie. I'm very, very proud of you all. There seems to be in Florida where you guys live now, and everybody knows I like to poke fun at Florida. Everybody knows I like to poke fun at everything. I'm not really, I don't really mean half the things I say. It's just so, I grew up watching David Letterman. He was my favorite talk show host. And what Letterman was really known for was kind of being a pain in the ass, sticky, picking on things kind of guy. And that's kind of what I modeled myself after. So, yeah. So that's why I pick on everything. But it was really just a good film, and that's awesome. So, Joe, tell us a little bit about that wonderful. I saw your message, by the way. Tell us a little bit about that wonderful business that your beautiful wife and daughter. I'm not only a big fan, but also a customer because they do some wonderful things.
No, thank you. That is Hearts of the Mystic Folk. They're scented wax melts, all natural, hand poured. They have room sprays and wickless candles as well. And they're just getting into everything right now with crystals and the whole 9 yards. They're even making it to some retail stores here in Florida.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is
Yes.
fantastic.
Thank
Do
you.
you know if they're going to expand into the stone business?
I believe that's what my daughter's really excited about. So the stones and gems and whatever
There
the
you go,
crystals.
gemstones, right? It's so funny
Yes.
because when my daughter comes home from college, and we go to the local mall. There's a gemstone store there. My wife and myself literally just hand my daughter our wallets, and I go right to the blood bank. I donate a pint. My wife is selling her jewelry outside. Hi, Ken. I hope you're well. So because it's just a mess when it comes to people and their, especially those young girls and their gemstones and such. Joe just informed me that our lovely guest is here, so we'll be joining with her in just a few minutes. But before we bring Uzma up, let's bring up our dear friend, our colleague, our co-host, the incomparable Grunkle Scott Schiaffo. Grunkle, Scott, you out there? Hi,
Hey,
Grunkle Scott. How are you?
what's going on? I'm good. How you guys doing?
I am doing fantastic. I'm doing even better now that you are here. So tell us, you had a big weekend in Pensacola, Florida at Pensacon. And I see you there with
Woohoo!
Ming Chen and Brian and Marilyn and Jeff is right behind you. And the whole crew, it looks like you had a packed house. How'd it go?
Oh man, it was bonkers. That was the panel on Saturday night. That was bonkers, man. I mean, really great turnout. Wonderful bunch of guests. Hey, Ken. Yeah. Hey, just wonderful time, man. I can't thank everybody enough for coming out to Pensacola, and the folks who ran it were really wonderful hosts. So all good stuff.
Now, I seen in pictures that you post, or somebody posted, that you were right next to Tom Arnold. Did you you have any Tom Arnold stories for us?
Well, he was actually only there that first day, and then they moved him to a different area of the hall. It kind of like they put him in our room. There was like a view askew room.
Right.
It was like all view askew, and then Tom Arnold. So I think that might have been a mistake on somebody's part, but he was fun. I mean, he was a really very animated, very energized cat. But in our room, it was Ethan Suplee, Austin, who's he's in Clerks 3, he's the younger cat. He's in that picture. Trevor Furman, who plays Elias, Brian, Jeff, Marilyn, myself, and then Tom Arnold. So it was like, it was a small room. It wasn't a very big room. But.
Poor Tom Arnold. So do you guys have any other huge Clerks shows left this year where all you guys are going out, or was this kind of the last one?
Well, I think that actually this is one of the first. There are plenty. I'm not on board yet for a number of them, but you've got Kevin, Jay, Brian, Jeff, Trevor, Austin, and Marilyn and I. are always kind of like we're on a need to know basis. But they just right now they're all in Detroit. But Kevin had to miss a flight because there's a lot of bad weather. So unfortunately, Kevin himself wasn't there. So Detroit's happening as we speak or ending as we speak. So that's history. I'm going to go to Canada at the end of next month, but I'm the only Clerks person. But Harley is going to be there, Kevin's daughter, Cooper Andrews, Margot Bingham. And then in Philly the following month, it's the same lineup as was just in Pensacola, but I believe with Jay, because Jay didn't come this time because his wife just had the baby.
Oh, sweet.
So, and that's all I know of for me now, but there's a lot coming up. Thanks to Clerks 3, there's a lot of cons that are doing Clerks themed packages type of thing.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I always lament the traveling, but it's always more than worth it and fun to see everybody, meet the most amazing supporters, get to actually leave my cocoon and meet the good people.
Oh, that's awesome. And another thing I wanted to bring up, a dear friend of our show, I'm super proud of her. We fight all the time. We really do hate each other. But
Tiff.
I'm super proud of Tiffany Shepis and her husband Sean. The new season of Picard is really fantastic. Tiffany is now a part of the star. I told you that I told you this almost a year ago, guys. If you remember, in secret, that she was going to be now part of Star Trek lore, and I'm sure her her head was
Well,
like.
not only is she in it, David, she's a doctor.
Yeah, I know she's a
Well,
doctor.
am I wrong? Is her partner not a writer or is also writing it, or am I way off with that?
No, her husband, I think, has written 3 or 4 episodes this season,
Right.
and it was also a part of getting the show off the ground. So they're really in on the ground level. And all kidding aside, Tiff and Sean, congratulations. The show is fantastic. It's awesome to see you in something as huge as the Star Trek universe, and you guys should be very proud because I am super proud of you guys, and that was really, really awesome. I mean, their daughter is off on the White House lawn, protecting us from gun violence. Tiffany is floating around the universe as a Star Trek doctor, and Sean is writing his stuff. So that's one, and their son Max is awesome. So congratulations to the whole Tretta family on that's pretty. Jamie Hill loves Star Trek. Oh, that's awesome. I love Star Trek too. I'm a big fan.
Do you know who Jamie Hill is by chance?
Sadly, maybe I do, but I'm old and my brain doesn't work.
Fair enough. She actually plays the mother in Skinamarink, that
Okay.
new indie flick that actually went to theaters and made a couple of million.
Oh, congratulations! Is that her in that little icon?
Yes.
Oh, she looks like a beautiful woman. Thank you for watching us tonight, and congratulations on your awesome success. That's pretty freaking awesome. Anybody who has success in the film industry deserves all the love they can get. Hello, fellows, tuning in, getting the last weekend in our Oscar Decade Cavalcade Generation movie tomorrow night. Congrats, Tiffany. Hope she gets. Oh yeah, and that's exactly what the world needs is a Tiffany Shepis action.
Actually, what JW is referring to is tomorrow night on the Indie Escape Network presents Generation Movie Oscar Decade Cavalcade, the Lost Weekend. They're doing every decade, one movie from every decade. So that's pretty cool. They're on the 40s.
That's the Ray Milland film, isn't it?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, we've been bantering enough.
Better pipe in and go, yes, it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jamie says hello. Thank you.
Is our lovely guest still in the green room?
Yes, she is.
Okay, without further ado, this show is known for having directors, actors, musicians, pretty much all across the entertainment spectrum. You name it, we've had it. Actually, Joe just put up a post. I forgot some of the people who did this schleppy show.
It's pretty impressive.
It's pretty astonishing, actually. Tonight, for the first time, we're going to have a representative from the UN join us. And I'm super excited about this because there's so many cool things about, what she does. And without further ado, UN Representative Uzma Gul, ladies and gentlemen.
Excuse me, doctor.
Dr. Uzma Gul. My apologies. My apologies.
It's totally fine. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Doctor. How are you?
I'm good. You can call me Uzma. It's fine.
Hi, Uzma. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm very, very well. Thank you for joining us so much tonight.
And I'm
And
so
I
sorry.
actually, we actually got to speak chat on Facebook a few times, gentlemen. And what's really cool is that it seems like Uzma has incredibly good taste in films. She wants to see Cocaine Bear, which I think is pretty awesome. Did you see it yet?
10 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I loved it.
And what was cool about I never really thought of a UN rep like wanting to see Cocaine Bear, so I think that's super cool.
It's like I'm matching up with my age. So it's like balancing professional life and personal life. So I have a different personal life with my friends. And when it comes to work, we are serious and working for people. So, and it was very famous. Like everyone is marketing about cocaine beer. Um, like most of the time when we go to watch movies, the halls are pretty much empty. But today was like totally full,
Oh
and
wow, that's a
everyone
good
was
sign.
happy. And it was totally unexpected. Like every person was a good actor in there. Every person was playing their role very well. Um, it kept us engaged. Nobody left the hall for a single minute. I never see anyone leaving the hall today. So it was like engaging, very engaging.
Sweet. I was thinking about making a cocaine platypus movie, but sadly, I don't think the platypus is as engaging as the bear. But what the hell do I know?
Yeah, you can do that.
So, sadly, we met because, not sadly that we met over a sad circumstance. Is that I had a dear friend named Patrick Sharada who also worked at the UN, who sadly just passed away recently. And Patrick did my film Middle Village with me. He was a big part of helping me get Middle Village together and getting some of the people who were involved in that film. And Uzma, is there anything you want to share about Patrick while we're here? Because he was such a great guy.
I met him during a conference. I was the speaker, and he was media co-chair, I believe, in United Nations. And he had a good eye of seeing people on merit or talented. I'm not praising myself here, but he brought up so many people on the platform of United Nations, so many young people, including men, women, girls, young girls or boys, anyone. He see talent and he promotes it. Um, he was full of ideas. I was discussing a couple of ideas with him, and I was having a very small vision about my project, and he was so excited about it, and he was like, we'll multiply it, we will network with these kind of people. Don't just think about 10% of the thing, think about like 2000 times bigger ideas. So he was kind of a networking kind of a person. He was people's person. And the way I attended his memorial yesterday, I met so many of his friends, school friends or university fellows or work colleagues. The stories they told me about, he never shared that side of his life. And I
Right.
realized yesterday that he was way more than what he showed
Oh
now at
yes.
UN. He had a vast and rich experience. He was all the time with people. He was traveling. He was well traveled, well aware of things, well groomed, friendly, lively. People of his age are not that lively in my country. Like I'm from Pakistan.
Mm.
Um, After you cross 50, you're supposed to be on the bed all the time. You're
Yes.
in old category. In
I
my
should move. I should move to Pakistan because I'm literally on the
You'll be
bed.
the king in the house then. You'll be all the time on the bed and people will be serving you all the time. So,
I'm getting a ticket first thing in the morning. I am down. And
yeah.
the reason why I'm bringing up Patrick Sharada, A, is because he's a great guy and was involved in my film Middle Village. And B, because a dear friend of this show, Ray Abruzzo, his closest friend was Patrick Sharada. They grew up in Middle Village together and they did stage work together. and Ray was just Ray Abruzzo from Sopranos
I
and Night
think he
Court.
sent a video for memorial.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Ray is out. I was just speaking to him the other day, and
yeah, yeah.
he was out in California working on a project. And I actually got snowed in. We had the worst ice storm yesterday in Northeast Pennsylvania. I couldn't literally get out of the driveway, so I was heartbroken. I couldn't make it down to Connecticut. But one quick thought I will share about Patrick Sharada is that he had a passion. Anything he was passionate about, he talked about with glee. He loved the 1964 World's Fair in New York City. That was the big hemisphere. I'm sure Scott knows all about Flushing Meadow Park, being someone in the Northeast. And he had such a wonderful passion for everything, the Mets, and
Maths,
God rest his
yes.
soul with all that. Uzma, tell us a little bit about your background, like growing up in Pakistan and things you did growing up.
It's like it's kind of a patriarchal society. We really have to struggle a lot, even though we the world is changing, we are changing, our country is changing, we are going toward modernization, we have so many things in my country, but still the mentality is very patriarchal, very religious, very extremist kind of mindsets. So I started working for empowerment of women and young people and democratic strengthening in my country at a very young age. We were facing martial law in my country, force coup in my country. So we started working on that. Then I started working on gender-based violence and child marriages, child abuse, child labor. There's a lot happening in my country. So there were different issues. Once you're famous for something and people listen to you, then other people also come to you to help you, with the issues and things, and that's how you get connected. I received multiple awards for the work I was doing in my country. Then I got selected as a Asia Pacific head at the Commonwealth Youth Council. I got the honor of working with the Queen Elizabeth and Prince Harry. Then I joined United Nations as a UN representative. Here I'm representing International Alliance of Women. We are working for women empowerment, inclusion, and gender-based violence everywhere in the world. So yeah, that's how I got connected with the people at United Nations.
So what cause are you most passionate about working for United Nations? I mean, what if you could fix something in this world through your work, and I know that you will, what would that be?
Um, Before I had so many issues that I used to think that I need to fix this, I need to fix that. But currently, I'm more passionate about people who are leaving their country because I'm myself a victim to that and a survivor of that. So I think immigrants or people who are forced to leave their country. Then the second thing I want to work on is making world leader to deliver. That's my passion, to make them deliver, because I've been working home all my life for the causes. We raise awareness, we do protests. In my country, we are doing women marches. The co-founder of some of the marches in my country, but the thing is that there is no result. Um, we are working for climate change since 1983. There was this young girl who came to UN in 1993 also. She created a wave of change. Then comes Greta in 2018, but there is no change. So that means in 20, 25 years, we did nothing. Similar to that, CEDAW was the law that was made before in 90s. And then there was this Beijing conference that was the world's biggest conference for women, and then after that we are still doing the same thing. That means there is no change. We still don't see gender equality in 200 years. That's what we are discussing about in UN nowadays, that next 200 years we are not seeing gender equality. So what are we working for and what are we protesting for? So my current passion is to make world leader deliver, and to, because laws are there, laws are already made, policies are there, but there is no implementation. And why there is no implementation is because the leaders are not serious. I am very much disappointed by United Nations working, because for me it's just a party center. Like you go, you talk to people, you meet with them, you network with them, you eat, drink, come back home and sleep. That's it. There is
Mhm.
nothing going on really on the ground. So this is something I really want to work on. And right now, I'm on my first passion. I'm currently working on a shelter for girls who are coming from other countries, because when I came here, I faced a lot of problems. I was abducted in my country in 2019 for the work I was doing, and I was tortured a lot. And when I came back home, my dad was he turned his back on me, and I had to leave my house. I had to leave my country. When I came here, I knew nobody. And it was really hard for me to get my social security, to get housing, to get healthcare, to get job. Everything was so difficult for me. So similarly, other girls who are coming, like right now, people are coming from Mexico, people are coming from Syria, Afghanistan, Iran, so they don't have anyone here. And for that, I'm working on a shelter, because we don't have asylum shelters or refugee shelters here. We have different shelters, and I've visited them. Not good for girls like me to go in there and stay in there for long. So this is what I'm working on, and this was the same idea I was discussing with Patrick before he departed the world. So that's what I'm working on actually.
Wow.
First off, I want to say thank you for all the incredibly hard work you're doing. Second off, I want to say I'm deeply sorry that those horrible things happened to you. They should have never happened to you. And when you return home from horrible things happening to you, it's your parents' duty to be strong and loving towards you. And I'm sorry that that didn't happen to you either. Uh, People like you are what's going to make this world a better place. And here's why. Uh, Sadly, as Americans, we don't realize that every single one of us, unless we're American Indians, are immigrants. We all came here from somewhere. And the fact that we now live in America, where a large, not a majority, I would say, but a good number of us feel like the answer is to lock us in and keep everybody else out. It's kind of horrifying because what makes America great is diversification.
Exactly.
It's about people learning each other's cultures. It's about people learning from each other, and supposed to be a melting pot where everybody comes and works and strives together to make for a better nation. And that's really what even our forefathers, what they intended, but somehow through time we pervert what the original thought of what this country is. I went to school on Second Avenue and Second Street, LaSalle Academy. It's a very prestigious school. And when I say the diversification in these classes was unbelievable, like every nationality you could think of. And the great thing about us is that we were a bunch of guys, all male, pre-military school, and we developed such an unbelievably close bond. And we would say the nastiest crap to each other about our heritages and goof on each other, and all at the end of the day, be able to laugh and have a good time. And if anybody messed with us as a collection, you would be in big trouble because we loved each other. It didn't matter if we were white, black, brown, or yellow.
True.
We loved each other because we were a family. And that's what is what the foundation of America should be. And so thank you so much for telling an old white guy like myself to remember this because it's the truth, and it's pretty awesome that and it's awesome what you're doing. It's almost making me come to tears because we need a lot more people like you. We have a young lady named Mia Tretta who is the daughter of Tiffany Shepis, who's a very famous actress who comes on this show all the time. And Mia is a young girl who sadly got shot in high school. Her best friend was murdered in front of her. Her dear friend also was murdered. Three kids were shot. Two of them passed away, and Mia survived. And she's only 17 or 18-year-old girl. And she now goes to the White House almost every other month. And she's passionately working to get rid of ghost guns. That's the kind of gun that somebody manufactures how to make it at home. And then, it can't be traced or anything. And that's what killed her dear friend and her dear friends, and now she walked around the rest of her
It's
life.
so sad and
Yeah.
unfortunate because once you enter in the building of United Nations, there is this gun sculpture that is like tied, not tied,
Hmm.
and that says like no gun violence. And all gun violence I see is in America, especially in schools. So here also United Nations is failing on implementing the policies and strengthening the culture here in schools, at least like how a young kid can get a gun or how he is taking the gun to school. What it's all about, the thought process and the mentality, the changing mentality, because kids are you know accessing all the things. Everything is accessible to them through internet, through phone, technology. Like right now, we were like today also we had a session in United Nations about the importance of digitalization and bringing young people and especially women to technology and introduce them to technology, like technology in health, economy, everywhere. But this is the side effect of availability of resources and at a young age, because when I was kid, I was 13, 14, 18. We were not even aware of these kind of things. We were just going to school, competing with other students, showing our best, and coming back to home. So, most of the time, this is also like you need to have a strict policy in school. I don't know how. I've never been to schools here in USA. I've never even visited, but still, I'm curious, like how kid is taking a gun to school sometimes, like
No, it's a
strange.
horrifying thought. And to think about this, Uzma, our politicians, 50% of them go to Senate with AR-15 pins on. Think about the psychosis there when these are the guns of choice that murder and massacre so many kids in school. This isn't a political issue. If you look at me and go, oh, he's a stupid liberal or that, you're pathetic. This is a problem that we have. I don't give a shit if you're a gun owner. I don't give a crap if you feel the need to have that extension. I don't feel that way, but good for you if you do. But there's an inherent problem here where people are and children are getting slaughtered and hurt, and we need to do something as a country. I don't. I hope Scott and Joe, at least you guys are hearing what I'm saying and agree with me to a certain extent. I don't want to come to your house, anybody's house, and take their guns, but we have to make sure that gun owners, especially people who have these weapons of mass destruction, are competent and not dangerous people, and not are going to go. And I mean, the sad fact, the reality of these mass gun shootings that kill dozens and dozens of people at a time, the sad reality of it is it's almost always done with legally purchased guns. And that argument that you can bad guys will always get guns, that's not really relevant when it comes to this particular matter, because these are bad guys who went to Walmart and bought a gun. And that's just a sad reality that we have to face. And I'm sorry I dragged you down this whole gun violence thing, Uzma. I know it's not really in your wheelhouse. I was just comparing to you to Mia, who I was just comparing young women who are doing these incredibly important things to make the world a better place, and trying to put a spotlight on you guys for being awesome. So thank you, if that makes any kind of
Thank
sense.
you.
Shut down. I'm 100% with you, Carrie. I think it's a dangerous organization, all about money, and it doesn't really take into account the human toll. Thanks for being a fighter for women and girls and being hero champion refugees all over the world. John Wayne Cowell's a very respected film guy. I met him on NBC's PA Live, and he has a great show here on the network, and he's sending out his love. So, uh, tell us a little bit about what you have in store for the UN in the future. What directions are you looking to take as a rep uh, to see if you can get some things done?
For now, we are just working on strengthening the policies. I'm not inside the UN, but I believe working from inside is, for me, a negative point,
Hmm.
because once you're working with the organization, you cannot point out the mistakes. So once you're out of that organization, so from outside, we can tell them that this is something you're doing wrong and this is something where you're failing. That's why I opted for the organization that is working for women empowerment and women inclusion. We are We are an alliance of 108 organization, women organization from across the globe, and we are working for coalitions of all women organization and empowerment, inclusion, diversity, gender gap, gender balance, equity, equality, everything. And in future also, I see myself in the same position where I am telling UN what they're supposed to do. I don't want to join UN as a employee or as a any person who is getting paid from UN, because once you're working with them, you can never raise your voice on them. So it's better to stay outside and tell them what they are supposed to do, because they're losing the track. SDGs are also failing like MDGs. We won't achieve them by 2030, and we are failing terribly on SDGs. We don't see it, you know.
What is an SDG?
Sustainable Development Goals.
Hmm.
We have like 17 goals. We have summarized all the world problems in 17 goals like hunger, poverty, education, quality of health, partnerships, investments, climate, infrastructure, cities, developing cities. So these are like 17 goals. In 2000, we made Millennium Development Goals because 2000 was starting as a new decade. So we made Millennium Development Goals, but we failed in 2015 because it was a 15-year time period to achieve those goals, and we failed. So we transformed MDGs into SDGs, that is Sustainable Development Goals, and we expanded those goals into 17 goals, and different organizations in the world are working on these 17 goals. My specific goals are 3, 4, 5, and 16. That is good health, quality education, gender equality, and democratic good governance. So I picked four specific areas for myself. Similarly, other people, other young activists are working for different goals. Like Malala Yousafzai is working on education only. Greta is working on climate change. There are other activists who are working on different 17 goals, and the target was to achieve them by 2030. That's why we have another project that is known as UN 2030 Agenda, or UN 75. That means by the time UN will turn 75 years old, we have to achieve these goals. And this year, we are discussing that we are not going to achieve these goals by 2030 because of less financing or no financing or no context or no connections or no availability of data, because I if I connect to you, only then I can share my ideas with you and you can invest in my ideas. But we don't have a data pool where people can find resources, people can find financiers or investors. We have so many local organizations that are working on grassroots in Africa, Far Asia, Pacific, who are having problems when it comes to financing, education financing, health financing, sexual reproductive health or rights. They don't have money, they don't have funds, and people who have funds, they have no vision, they have no goal, and they don't know where to invest their money. And that's where we need a platform where these two people are getting connected, so the people with the money can invest in the people that have vision or goal or needs. So we have needs, but we have no proper, you can say, direction, where they're not connected. So that's what we are working on right now, and I hope we can achieve that, but we are not hopeful for 2030.
Now you just brought up two names. Was you said Greta? It was the other name Malala.
Malala Yousafzai, the girl
Now
who
is
got
that
shot
is
by Taliban.
that's the young lady who got shot in the head by the Taliban, correct?
Yes.
Uh, for anyone who is not familiar with that story, is there anything about that particular story you could share with us? Because I know that it happened. I know, was she the Time Life Person of the year that it happened?
Yes,
Yeah.
she's a friend to me.
Okay.
We were working together. We got training from the same organization. There was this political organization working in Pakistan. It's head based in Washington D.C., National Democratic Institute.
Hmm.
We are both trained by that organization back in 2008, 2010, 2013. She was working on education in her part of province. Pakistan have four provinces. I was from the south part of Pakistan. She belongs to north part of Pakistan. She was working on education of girls, especially girls, because there are some areas in Pakistan where girls cannot go to school. They're not allowed, similar to Afghanistan. So it's like very tribal, and very patriarchal and very, you can say, it comes to the ego of a man if girl is going to school, and they don't want girls to go to school. So Malala was working on that. And because America was working, like, was having war with terrorism in Afghanistan, so Taliban who escaped Afghanistan were sheltered in Pakistan, I believe, because that's how their presence was made in Pakistan because they were escaping from Afghanistan. So they never wanted girls to empower other girls. And one day when she was coming back from her school, they shot her on the head. And luckily, fortunately, she survived. And since then, she's very vocal about education of girls.
That's
She won
just an
Nobel
incredible.
Prize on that.
Yeah, it's funny because my daughter is in university right now, and they actually have an entire class dedicated to her. So my daughter is uh, learning about it right now. It's absolutely an amazing and horrific story all in the same time. But
Every girl in my country who is working is because she's having a supportive family.
mhm.
In case of Malala, even though the area, the society was against her, but her father stood by her side, you know. So her father was standing like a rock with her that my daughter is going to school, my daughter will get education. She was writing blogs on BBC, she was writing blogs on UN since a very young age. So it was from the family. So that's why we believe when we work as an activist or change makers, we tell ladies that if you are getting awareness, you are getting educated, all your generation will be strong. Like you will be standing by your kids. Like in my case, my mother was my support all the time. Whenever my father was standing against me, my mother was standing in support of me. So it's like you need someone from your family who gave you the back, so you can stand strong and you can be the voice for other people. Because if you cannot raise voice in your family for yourself, then how can you be raising voice for other people? You know, so it is depending on family, especially.
Absolutely. Let's go to a little bit of a lighter side now. Uh, uh, you live in New York City. You're a young person. Tell me a little bit about what it's like to be a Pakistani woman living in New York City these days. Is there a lot of cultural things you could do? Is there a lot of cultural foods you can enjoy, or is it not really as in tune with New York City nightlife yet?
Can you repeat the last line? Because I live near the airport and there are planes going.
Damn that LaGuardia! No.
JFK and LaGuardia, both.
Yeah,
I live near both of
yes,
them.
oddly enough, I'm not going to say where you live, of course, but oddly enough, she lives in my old stomping ground, so it's pretty cool. Uh, do you, is there, as a young Pakistani woman in New York City, is there a lot of cultural things for you to do? Is there a lot of restaurants and such? Or is it not, has that culture not really hit New York City yet?
Now, for me, I used to travel a lot for my conferences. I've been to
Mm-hmm.
UK, I've been to Thailand, I've been to Korea. In fact, I've been to North Korea as well for the peace delegate. Um, I've been to all other countries, and I used to come to USA a lot for my UN sessions. My first fellowship in America was in Alabama. So I stayed in Alabama for 6 months. It was legislative fellowship program. Then I was based in Nevada. I was shadowing a mayor, and in Texas, the first female and the first black mayor in San Antonio. I was shadowing her. Then I was based in DC. So I was coming here and I knew what New York looks like. So I belong to Karachi. I was born raised in Karachi. My city is like typically like Manhattan. I won't
Mm-hmm.
say all New York, but if I go to Manhattan, I feel like I'm in my city. My city is known as City of Lights and full of crime. But like if I'm out of my house, you don't know you are going back home safe or not. Either you are going making it to home or not. So we grew up in that environment. So for me, living in New York was not that difficult. Yes, because I came unexpectedly. I was not expecting to come to USA all of a sudden, leaving everything behind. It was difficult initially for me to stabilize my life here, but culturally, we have more Indian people here. We have a Pakistani community here, but dominatively, we have Indians here, Bengalis here. So food is available everywhere. I never have any problem with the food, but because I myself try different kind of food, so I never been to Pakistani restaurants. To be honest, I don't like the taste, the way they cook here. I'm always like comparing it with my country. I'm like, in Pakistan, it was good. Here, you don't know how to make the food. So I better go to Indian restaurants. So mostly I end up going to an Indian restaurant. Culturally, I have friends. I had friends before. So it's not that much of a problem for me to get adjusted
Mm-hmm.
later. But initially, it was a shock for me because it was very unexpected. I had plans in my country. I was doing my MBA in my country and I completed it. It was just one comprehensive exam I had to leave, and it's been 5 years and it's still pending. So I'm not MBA. I'm MBA, but not with a degree. So it stresses me out sometimes. But settling down here is not that of a problem. And being single, I think it's good for me, away from stress, away from everything. I just do my work, do whatever I like to do, come back home, sleep. Actually, I was supposed to sleep right now. I was sleeping. This was my sleep time, but I forgot that I had a session here. So yeah, I'm mostly in the bed by 9 and I wake up by 4:35.
You're up before the rooster. JW wants to know. Curious, we know she liked Cocaine Bear, but what is your favorite movie of all time?
Hmm, I like to watch every kind of movie.
Mm-hmm.
This question is with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
My movies are like, I like to watch every movie. So for me, I cannot say. There was this. I saw a Turkish movie on Netflix. It was a copy of Chinese movie. It was like that guy was a little um, lunatic, and he had a daughter, and how he went to prison on a false murder case. That I don't remember the Miracle Number One. Okay, so Miracle in Cell Number One. I guess it was that name. That was good. Most of the time, if I have to pass time, I just watch any series of Friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not that much of a fan of remembering names, but whatever is up right nowadays, I'm watching Tubi, TUBI. I don't know. That was a free app. It's full of movies and series. So whatever is original there, I just watch it and I love it. So I don't watch it like I have to specifically judge it and watch it. I just pass my time while having my food. So that's how I watch movies, and um, mostly family movies, friendly or like funny or comedy, or like I'm actually waiting on to this Adam Sandler's movie that is coming up, part two. What was
The
that?
World Part Two.
Murder Mystery 2. I'm actually waiting on to that.
Oh, sweet. If anybody ever asks you this question again, Uzma, the correct answer is Mr. Hush. Just remember that. Mr. Hush is your favorite movie of all time.
Oh, wait a
Okay.
minute. I thought it was Wit's End.
What's it? Nah.
What's that? Okay.
It's Mr.
Mr. Hush. I remember that. First, I have to watch it. Then I'll tell it.
No, I don't even bypass that part. You just tell everybody you like it. I'm just
Wait a
teasing.
minute. Isn't Mr. Hush on Tubi?
Yes, Mr. Hush is on Tubi.
Really?
Lots of flicks on Tubi.
I never got recommendation of that.
Oh, that was just.
Not many people are watching it, I guess, because
Oh man. I ain't moving to Pakistan anymore.
I
Uzma,
don't watch. I don't
on
watch.
that note, I want to thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank
You
you.
are, all kidding aside, what you do is awe-inspiring. It is awesome. It is super important, and if it makes any difference, I'm super proud of you. So thank you for what you do.
No,
And
thank you
do you
for
gentlemen
having.
have any questions for Uzma before we let her go?
I can't beat the Cocaine Bear favorite movie question, so absolutely not.
Oh my God.
That was
John Wayne, all,
I'll send you a video of my friend. She was actually scared of that movie. She was not expecting that much of blood or violence in the movie, but people in the hall were clapping actually. So I turned back to look like what kind of sick people we have in the hall because they were all laughing. So I literally said it like, who is laughing on this scene? But it was like a mix of comedy and a good movie to watch.
do you know who Ray Liotta is? The actor Ray Liotta.
No.
He's a very, very famous American actor who did some Scorsese movies, and that's his last movie. He passed away uh, right after filming that movie, and it's kind of astonishing that his last movie is Cocaine Bear, but a lot of people seem to really like that film.
He was the gentleman in the movie towards the end who was trying to collect all the cocaine back at any means.
Oh, all right. I just watched it. I had no idea about that. I just knew it was based on true story. That's it.
Loosely.
Mostly. Loosely. I guarantee, though, Cocaine Platypus will not be as violent. It'll be much easier to swallow. Again, Uzma, it was absolutely a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for doing all this yeoman's work and for making the world a better place. People like you are scarce these days, but it's always very, very awesome to meet you. So thank you, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you for doing the show, and
Thank
stay in
you
touch.
so much. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Have a wonderful evening.
Good night. And John Wayne said, "Oh, too late. Thanks for being a rock star and thinking about the well-being of others. Thanks for joining us on the Indie Escape."
That's what I sometimes on this show I don't even know what to say. I mean, some of these people out there and what they are going through and what they are doing to make this a better place for us is just mind-boggling. And I'm humbled that they will come on our show. I goof on our show all the time, but we're very, very blessed for some.
Did she lose a bet?
Obviously not. Obviously not. She hasn't seen Mr. Hush yet.
Scott, I don't know, man. When you're in trouble, I make one phone call, I make it go away. Maybe you should be a little nicer. You pain in the ass.
Yeah, watch what happens when you go to Canada this time.
No, yeah. They're going to go, what's the best movie? And he's not going to say Mr. Hush. He's going to get his ass turned back. Oh, that was very, very... that was awesome. That was awesome. And, I understand that this is supposed to be a light and goofy show. And everybody who joined us tonight, I think sometimes we need to, I like to look at this show as a bunch of friends getting together every weekend, having a cold beer together, laughing and learning and having a good time. And sometimes it's important to have, these deep, important conversations. And when we have somebody like Uzma to come on and light us up to these facts and these stories, it blows my mind. What do I know?
Oh, it's definitely an eye-opener, man. I mean, because you don't constantly think about it. And she's doing it on a day-to-day basis.
She definitely classed up the joint. Oh, that's absolutely.
Look at me. I'm wearing a freaking hat, a T-shirt. I guess I'm a little underdressed.
Well, too, I think maybe because it's for you, this is a platform where you would least expect. I really felt like, wow, this woman is in a whole other league in a sense, like here I am was talking about some, I guess, superficial pop culture stuff. And then this person is enmeshed in the sufferings of others and what's going on in the world. It's like, I kind of
dick and fart jokes don't seem to be as important.
Right.
And to everybody watching, and I know some people who are actually going to watch this later on from the UN. I humbly hope that we did the guest justice, because it's not really my wheelhouse to do a interview like that. But I was humbled, and thank you for letting her come on and everything. That was just awesome. So next week we were thinking about having plus. What is John Ray saying?
A plus is, Joe, is that you have also seen Cocaine Bear. The people fixing the suffering need to laugh too.
Absolutely,
it's true. I mean, just don't go watch Creed 3 then.
Is Cocaine Bear a comedy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know what blew my mind? I didn't know that Elizabeth Banks directed that picture.
Yeah, I went into the movie blind. All I saw was the poster. That was it. Didn't see a trailer or anything. And I saw directed by. I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
She did a good job, man. But now I'm afraid it's going to open up this whole freaking gateway of all the. Okay, cocaine squirrel. I mean, come on, man. You need rodents, something small.
Yeah, like the Amityville movies, like Amityville Cop, Amityville Dishwasher,
Terror,
Amityville
turkey,
in space.
You got to have the heroin chipmunk.
Heroin chipmunk.
I'm up for that role.
Oh, wait a minute. Originally, it was crack chipmunk, and then it turned to
Crackhead Jones. Well, gentlemen, yeah, I apologize. I am not going to be available next Sunday night for the Oscar show, unfortunately.
I don't even know. That's what I was getting. I don't even know if we'll be back. I mean, it's also spring break for college kids, so I might actually be out on the road. So we might be here for an Oscar show next week. Well, we might not. I don't know. What do you think, Joe?
I'm here whenever you guys are.
How many shows have we did this year so far? Are we up around 8-10 already?
I would think so. Yeah, at least. What are we in March? Oh, we're at the beginning of March, so I think we missed 1 or 2 shows.
Okay. Yep. I got some. I have a good show in mind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Does it involve Scott and pasties?
Of course it does. He's gonna do that whole Elvira dance when he makes the pasties wiggle with his nips.
This is because we love you, Scott. We want you to get the attention you deserve.
Scott is too good of a human being for like everything he's involved in. He's way too good of a human being for the View Askew universe. He's like heads above all of those clowns. He's way too nice and classy for this train wreck of a show.
There's no doubt about that.
You guys, that's too kind. You're too kind.
It's really the truth.
With the life I've led, I'm happy to be anywhere.
John Wayne looks like he's ready to jump in Scott's dead corpse space here.
He would make an awesome person to have on Oscar night.
No, I think he was on. I think he stopped on our last one.
He did.
That's right, because I can't believe that's a year already, but we did not realize that the now infamous.
Yeah, he actually mentioned it, and we thought it was all a joke.
Yeah, like it was a put on or something.
Right. So, but did anybody see Chris Rock's new Netflix stand-up that he apparently spoke about this?
Yeah, I saw snippets on, I think ABC was doing a thing on the Oscars tonight, and I saw how, Rock gets the last laugh type of thing. But I don't know, man. When you see it again, and what's really disturbing is not the slap so much, which obviously the slap's awful, but the walk back, Smith's walk back to the seat with this cocky face on, like as if what he just did was somehow, like it's crazy that was the Oscars.
And he hits like a bitch. He's lucky he was hitting a little like dude. Put JW's last comment up on the screen for a second. JW, you're always invited on this show. You can come on whenever you want, brother. Relax. We're teasing you. We love you.
So apparently JW is going to be here next Sunday night if David decides to do an Oscar show.
I might do it from wherever the hell I'm laying.
I mean, spring break, you're going to be with the kid and the family and doing fun stuff?
We are planning on going down to Savannah. But I don't know if we're going to be down there on the Sunday, so I'm not sure. Rock saying he wasn't raised not to fight in front of you. That's kind of funny. I haven't seen it, but that sounds kind of funny. That sounds like something Chris Rock would say. Hey, can anybody tell me if the Knicks won tonight? Did they beat Boston? Does anybody know? Anybody out there in the world can tell me? I would love to know. I was literally watching the game. It was like 104, and I came here and did this show. and talk to somebody who's changing the world. Tonight's show was Nick's. Oh, nice. Thank you, JW. It was actually tonight's show is one of those shows that makes me feel good about doing the show, because I mean, I love talking to some of my heroes, honestly, legends that I adored growing up on in the show in the past. But when you have somebody who is literally changing the world and is out there doing big and important things, and they come on here and they tell us about it, and I think that's pretty epic. I don't know. What the hell do I know? With that being said, I want to thank Uzma for joining us tonight. She was absolutely charming and wonderful, and she can come on the show anytime. I always had a dream, but sadly, since I started the show, he's gotten very old and ill, and sadly, he's on his deathbed now. I always wanted to have Jimmy Carter on the show because
You've mentioned that a number of times over the years.
I tried at least a half dozen times, and one time we were really close, and when we were about to consummate him coming on the show, he had come down with something, and now he will never appear on anything ever again, sadly. But sometimes mixing this show up just kind of feels organic, and I hope you guys are okay with it, because I think sometimes, telling all different sides of the story, or trying to bring us all together as people is kind of is a cool thing. So what do I know?
Well, it also it puts it in perspective. Like, she's talking to all these amazing people, trying to pass all these amazing things, but she's just human. She's like Cocaine Bear.
She would have to go say, how cool is that? I was literally speaking to her about our friend's funeral was in Connecticut on Saturday, and we were discussing on possibly meeting there, and she was like, I want to go, but I have plans to see Cocaine Bear. And I was like, what? It just rocked my world. I thought that was so cool. And then she's like, she asked me what she should watch on Amazon, and I suggested Spontaneous, because I think that's a cool movie, and I think it's so topical. So I hope she gets to watch that. And I was just teasing her on Mr. Hush, and her reaction was classic.
That means not a lot of people have seen it.
Apparently, apparently it's not a big hit in Pakistan or New York City or Los Angeles or San Francisco or Chicago or anywhere. But I'm fine with that. I'm going to go cry now. With that being said, everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. It was a great show. Look, we might be back next week. If we are, that'll be great. If it's not, we'll be back the week after. Scott, you have anything that you want to say before we wrap this baby up?
Just want to thank everybody for who may be watching, who came out last week to Pensacola. I want to thank David and Joe for always being there and supportive, and everybody who watches this show on the regular, whether I make it or not. And be kind to one another, man.
That's a great message. Joe, you have anything? We have the big show with Wendy on Thursday night.
We do. We have
JW's big show.
Thursday night, we have voice actor and writer Billy West. Look at all those famous characters that he brought to life with his voice. That's the Indie Escape Network presents a Sticky Microphone, Thursday, March 9th at 10 p.m. Eastern. And tomorrow night, we have the Indie Escape Network presents Generation Movie, Oscar Decade Cavalcade. I know I'm going to screw that up eventually, but Lost Weekend, we're in the 40s now. That is tomorrow. And if you guys haven't already, go to David Lee Madison's The End of the Night on Facebook. Hit that like and subscribe button. Go to the Indie Escape Network on Facebook, TikTok. That's YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. And give us a like and subscribe if you would, please.
I want to again thank Uzma Gul for joining us tonight. Representative of the UN from Pakistan. She was fantastic. The show was informative and wonderful. And what Scott just said, everybody be kind to each other. And let's just close the show as we do every week. Remember, no man is a failure who has friends. See you guys soon.